Well, what looked like a promising start ends in a very disappointing finish to the first half in the Creighton Marquette game as the Jays out in Milwaukee today trail 35-39. Creighton goes on a 10-0 run. The Golden Eagles respond with their own 14-0 run, and they tip it at the last second in the first half to take a 4-point lead at home. Jimmie Allen, Casey Matthews, Alex Drake with you here on the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. Guys, Ryan Kalkbrenner again is being kind of out there basically playing football in a basketball court. He's having bodies thrown at him, and he's having to chase around the bigs around the arc. But Creighton's doing a really good job keeping him disciplined and at the rim on defense, but offensively he just can't get going. He's 0-3 from the field. He has 3 points, but all of them coming at the free throw line. And Casey, we'll start with you. What have you thought offensively from Creighton in this first half?
Yeah, early on, I was pretty happy with the way we were passing the ball, moving the ball around. That first possession is a great example. Steven finds Jackson on the skip for the open three. I was really encouraged by that. I mean, obviously, if you're looking at Kalkbrenner specifically, the way they're pressuring the ball and doubling on ball screens, it's going to be very hard to get him the ball. You saw the one turnover by Jason trying to post feed him on the left side. It's going to be tough to get in the ball in those situations. Probably got to be looking more for some flip ups and things like they got. Would they get Fred on a flip up for a dunk? Right,
Yep.
you got to try to find some ways to manufacture some points from the field for Kalk. But you know what? He's taking what they give him. He's rebounding the ball well. I'm not too concerned there. I think you got to be. I mean, kind of encouraged, guys, like from this so far. I mean, the way we ended the half wasn't good, but I thought it was absolute. I don't know if we're against saying swears. I thought it was bullshit the way they stopped that possession there.
100%. I was going crazy.
Yeah, I think that's James Breeding. He's a terrible official, one of my least favorite of all time. Tim Clougherty was there right by the play, saw the whole thing, never stopped it. I mean, absolutely terrible. You cannot stop the ball in that situation. Creighton's got a 5-on-4. Like, it's just crap, man. I didn't appreciate that at all. So, tough ending of the half, but hopefully we'll come out swinging in the next half.
There's been a couple of question marks officiating wise too, because there was a one tip out where it was clearly not off Jason, and they called it off Jason Green, and not necessarily on the official because he was just out of position, but it clearly was not off of him, and you can't review because it was under the time. But a couple of great possessions for the Jays early on. You mentioned it, a couple of the flip ups, one to Fred King. They also got Jackson McAndrews on a runner to the basket. And that's something that we've kind of seen that they've tried to do early in the season. They haven't been able to do it. Alex, you and I have talked about it on the postgame show. What have you thought about Creighton's ability to get to the rim?
Yeah, I've been impressed, and we brought it up. I think it might have been after Georgetown, even when we were talking about how teams were selling out on front and back and on Kalkbrenner and utilizing the high post a little bit more, and you're seeing more cuts through the high post coming from the corner. Even though they're ending up at the top of the key, it still sucks that defender down a little bit to make the reversal a little bit easier. So, and Jason Green tried one on Saturday where he cut directly to that elbow and tried to throw a lob to Kalkbrenner that got batted out of bounds back towards half court. So you definitely see them trying some different things. What I kind of want to see more in the second half, and I don't know, Casey, you might agree, you might disagree. It's 50-50 with you on things like this and me, but there was a possession early on, I think it might have been the third or the fourth possession, where Creighton hadn't gotten the ball inside the 3-point line the entire possession, which is what Marquette's trying to do. But they stayed, even though they looked sped up the whole time, they stayed disciplined, and it led to a Jemiah Neal drawing the first foul of the game on basically curling off of a ball screen and just attacking the rim hard. What I'd like to see is not necessarily having to do that as much on the dribble drive and more just curl cuts off of screens attacking the rim. That's kind of been a knock that I've had on Creighton at times when they're going through struggles like this for years. I'm a big fan of curl cuts to just loosen things up. They're getting more back cuts. Jason had another back cut tonight in the first half. He had a turnover trying to dump it to Kalk on the baseline. He caught it in a bad spot, and then Steven had a turnover trying to throw it to a back cut too. But they're doing some different things that they don't always do. Another thing I think they need to try with a Jason or a Jackson on the perimeter is when they go to set that screen away, Casey, you'll understand this better than some people. When they go to set that screen away, once in a while I'd like to see the screener pin and seal and go to the rim. Just for the fans, Jimmy. But like, I'd like to see the screener once in a while pin and seal and go to the rim instead of just floating back out to the corner. Just a couple things here and there. Not we talked about Jason Green posting up today. I'm not looking for this to be a permanent thing or an every possession thing, but just something to switch it up to alleviate some of the pressure.
Sure. I mean, I actually have been okay offensively. I mean, it's tough when you really have pretty much one primary ball handler, only one guy that can really dribble. It's going to be really tough against Marquette. You're going to have to pass the ball well, which we talked about earlier today. So I don't disagree with that. I think some of the actions that I liked were some of the drift passes, and then the one more because Marquette does overhelp and they want to take away the easy rhythm three. That one more pass should be there. Especially on that drift and extra. So that'll be there. I think ball fakes. You got to incorporate more ball fakes against Marquette because they do want to get those tips. They do want to get the deflections. So anything to shift the defense and then make your pass. We used to say fake a pass, make a pass, right? It's fundamental basketball, but that's what you have to do against a team like Marquette in order to beat them because they want to speed you up. They want to get those deflections. Some of the announcers alluded to it earlier. Creighton was doing a good job with that early. I expect that you're going to see some ratcheted up defensive intensity from Shaka and Marquette, just trying to create more turnovers. We just got to control live ball turnovers. If we can get a shot on every single possession, look, Marquette took 35 shots. We took 29. You cannot do that against Marquette and expect to win. You got to maximize shot attempts.
We talked about Kalkbrenner attacking the rim today. He's been good on all three shot attempts, kind of attacking the rim. He just missed a couple shots that he normally makes. I'm not upset with a lot of things that they're doing on offense.
We're taking good shots. We are taking. There's no question about it. I promise you, Max in the locker room, and he's saying, guys, we're taking good shots. Keep doing what we're doing in that regard. We just cannot have live ball turnovers. And we have to be the tougher team on the defensive glass. We cannot let them get those extra one mores. You got to limit them to one possession. It's a huge key to beating Marquette.
Yeah. Are we impressed that we did not see Shaka Smart on the court playing help defense today?
There's a whole lot of second half to go.
Well, he's not going to be defending that end.
Jay's that's a good point. Jay's leading in rebounds right now, 20-16. They are losing the turnover battle. Casey, your point, the Jays have lost the turnover battle in the last two games. They've been able to overcome. I don't think they could do that tonight against this Marquette team. Other than Jackson McAndrew, Stephen Ashford is the only other Jay with two made buckets tonight. Not only like to Casey, your point. Marquette clearly going to ratchet up on defense. They've already done a pretty good job up until this point. You just got to find a way if you're Creighton not to allow a 14-0 run on the other side.
Absolutely. And you can't settle, guys. I mean, we took 18 threes. 29 of our 18 shots were threes. Like, I understand that we want to let it fly and do that whole deal. But, and again, they weren't bad shots. But can you turn down a good one for a great one, penetrate a little bit, play off of that aggression and that overhelp by Marquette, maybe try to get to the free throw line. Like, listen, they're a great team. This isn't just a good team. This is a great basketball team, and we're trying to beat them at their place, which Fiserv is nuts. It's a great place to play.
With the freshman leading in scoring.
Who's balling right now. Yeah, Jackson absolutely. Is unbelievable.
Dude, his second bucket, to me, is one of his most impressive buckets of the year. Little shoulder shake into the defense, floater. Yeah. He definitely came to play. You kind of not wonder, because obviously we talked to Ziegler after the game the other day. He wasn't taking it hard that he didn't play a ton of minutes against St. John's, but he's answering the bell tonight, and you love to see that. So
he was dealing with a shoulder injury too, and I mean, obviously, to your point, the shoulder shake. I mean, he's looking like he might be feeling healthy again too, and that's a big deal for Creighton.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks great. I got a couple texts about Fedor. Got to be patient with Fedor, guys. Got to be patient. He's going to be okay. Yeah. It's just going to take him some time. This is not the game that you want to play Fedor and try to get him to figure it out. Like, when he turns it over, especially that pass at the top of the key, like that's a glaring sign that he's not ready yet for a big minute load. So let's just be patient with Fedor.
Yeah,
I want to go.
You can't do that. This is the one. I mean, UConn and Marquette are the two teams in the Big East. You just can't leave one out there like that, like a lame duck to be turned over.
No, not at all.
Casey, do you feel like Steven is a little hot and cold when he's hunting tonight? A little bit, like early on in the game, he wasn't forcing shots, but that pull up fadeaway 3 on the right side, that one kind of bothered me a little bit when he had time to get set.
Guys like Steve, I'm sorry to cut you off, but guys like
no,
Steve,
you're good.
I think, when you're getting guarded the way he's being guarded, especially ball screens where he's getting doubled, the pressure really pushing them out, trying to make us operate in an area that we're not comfortable with. When you get a little bit of daylight, sometimes it looks like a lot of daylight. And so I do think that what happens is some guys, especially like Steve, who have that ultra neon, glowing green light, they want to get one up as soon as they have just a small opportunity. So I didn't mind it that much. You got to take good ones, but he's a scorer, man. He's going to do it. And,
no, absolutely. I just thought I thought he took too many dribbles. I thought he could have set and not shot the spinning fade on the full dribble.
I wonder how much that was because the one that he took previously only took one dribble and was about 99 feet away from the basket when he took it. So I think it was overcompensation for the previous possession.
Could be.
This is the Roll Jays podcast brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. Just a reminder, you can donate to Creighton's NIL Collective, the Bird Club, by scanning the QR code in your top right corner. All proceeds go to benefit your favorite Creighton athlete as well as this podcast. Guys, what do you Casey, we'll start with you. Key for Creighton to win this game in the second half.
I think the key is to slow the game down a little bit and limit our live ball turnovers. I'd rather have a shot clock violation than a live ball turnover.
Yeah, live ball turnovers, number 1. Number 2, continue to be solid on the defensive glass. They've been pretty good for the most part. And number 3 is find a way to get 11 going without him having to be at the foul line. He's a good foul shooter. No problems with him shooting free throws. But this team thrives when he gets a couple of dunks like Fred got. So you got to find a way to get him going in the flow of the offense.
Yeah, I've got 2, and it starts with number 11 for me as well. I think you need to, ad nauseum, feed it inside, let him go to work in the post. But secondly, right now, Creighton's just shooting 5 of 18, 27% from beyond the arc. You got to find a way to get a couple of those to go through the net if you're going to win this game. This has been the Roll Jays podcast brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. Alex Drake and I will be back on 1620 The Zone immediately following the game. We'll catch up with Creighton assistant coach Derek Kellogg and give you our thoughts following Creighton and Marquette. Hopefully, we're talking about a win over the number 8 team in the country. Thank you to the masses that came out and joined us tonight. We appreciate it. We'll be here at halftime for all the home games. We might get these 2 yahoos to join us at halftime for away games too throughout the rest of the season. We'll see everybody after the game. Go Jays.
Go Jays.